This is Desiree Dubonnet talking about the powers of the mind. There was a TV show, Nova, PBS, very, very profound. And back in the 80s, they covered some stories done in the 70s about psychic phenomena, about the idea of psychic phenomena. Now, this was very profound, and it started to influence me so that we could see that there really was powers of the mind. Now, I spent a long time studying this at the International Medical University, and I even did a presentation with Dr. Roger Nelson from the Princeton Energetic Anomalies research, showing the powers of the mind. And we were able to show that there really was a reality to ESP. Roger Nelson had done this incredible work at the Princeton Energetic Anomalies research, showing that inanimate objects could develop a type of consciousness. They could be connected, and that even your computer, even your motorcycle, these inanimate objects would have some type of consciousness, some type of ability to react. And we found that there really was a proof, a validity, a reality of the ESP.
I believe anyone who dispassionately looks at the experimental work in this field will come away from it feeling that there is certainly something here that deserves further investigation.
The very laws of physics were being challenged. And we need to look at these laws and realize that maybe they're not as hard and fast laws as we thought. Now, with quantum theory, things become different.
The majority of the scientific community doesn't believe in the existence of psychic phenomena, and I'm afraid that demonstrates that the majority of the scientific community is simply ignorant.
Ignorant, because they ignore. Is it because of arrogance? Did they ignore because of arrogance? Is it small-minded? Are they afraid of humiliation from their peers? But Benjamin Franklin told us that ignorance should not stop us from learning. We should open our minds.
Still, the pioneers of quantum physics in the 1920s did recognize that their revolutionary discoveries made the nature of reality a much more open and uncertain question than in the days of Newton. Classical physics described matter as following regular determined laws, but the new physics found that deep within the atom, many things happened by pure chance.
In 2022, the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to researchers who proved the quantum entanglement. As Einstein called it, the spooky action at a distance, now we know that everything is somewhat connected.
Games of chance exist because of this connection, because people sense that there is a connection, that they can influence things. Hence we have games of chance, and people believe that they can win.
A few physicists asked, if matter is so uncertain, could it be affected by the mind, and explain psychokinesis? Some people, it said, have the extraordinary power to move objects using just their minds. A few physicists have tried to investigate it.
All over the world, there are games like Japanese plinko. A little ball is dropped through a bunch of little pins. Now, it has one statistical place it should land, but yet the people play this game, and they believe that they could change it. They believe that they can affect it. They win money by doing this. In Japan, this is very, very popular because the people know in their hearts that they can affect the outcome and possibly win. Gambling exists all over the world because people have the belief that they can affect things.
Dr. Helmut Schmidt is a former research physicist with Boeing. He claims that the mind can affect the fundamental particles in matter. This piece of decaying radioactive rock is emitting a stream of atomic particles. Precisely when an atom decays is a matter of chance.
I watched this recording way back in the 80s, and I was able then to build a machine that was allowing us to test people's psychic ability.
To see if people could affect it mentally, Schmidt built this machine. Inside, a radioactive source triggers the lights to go a step one way or the other, completely at random.
The decay of the uranium ore is a pure, absolute, undeniable random event under quantum probability theory. I wanted to be able to make that. I used computers, but then I had to develop a computerized true random number.
Physics says there is a time when this atom decays is determined by pure chance. And so a good speculation, I think, is that where the physicist says this is pure chance, there the mind has a small place to enter.
The human mind can affect chance. Thereby, the entire casino industry is developed.
Las Vegas, all the different casinos all over the world are developed because of the idea that the human mind can affect chance.
You feel one with the light, you think nothing else, just work on the light. See that you try to move it around this way.
This is a reconstruction. The subject had to try and think the random lights to go clockwise.
So I built a system that from a computerized random number, we could see the hand moving clockwise or counterclockwise. And we found out that there was two different basic personalities behind this.
But though he tried to make the lights go clockwise, they consistently tended to go counterclockwise. It was, nonetheless, inexplicable by the laws of physics.
Certain people have what I called reverse psi. In other words, the more they wanted the device to go clockwise, went counterclockwise. Because in their mind, they actually felt that worrying could help prevent things.
After 50 runs, the data showed the woman had consistently made the lights go clockwise and the man the reverse. The effect was small, just a 2% deviation from chance, but highly significant to any statistician.
Everybody was able to affect the clock, clockwise or counterclockwise, positive psi or negative psi. And this was proof that there really was powers of the mind. Absolute proof that even Nova could not ignore.
It looks like a small effect, but we did the experiments long enough that we could say it was not chance anymore. These people were not lucky. It was a real systematic effect.
The Bible tells us as we think we are. The Buddha says as we think we are. And now science is telling us, as we think, we affect our environment and our lives.
When no one was trying to influence it, the lights moved neither clockwise nor counterclockwise.
The people had no idea about the uranium ore. They had no idea about the computer and the different functions. They only saw a clock, and from this clock, they were able to influence behind the scenes, and then other scientists confirmed it.
Several researchers have replicated Schmidt's results, including Dr. Dean Radin at Bell Labs and Dr. Robert Morris of Syracuse University.
I built this type of system back in 1985, got it FDA registered 1989, and historically we were able to show this incredible. And now I've made new advances in the NQB to make an even more improved God consciousness system. Because what we're talking about is measures of chi, being able to boost chi, being able to measure the type of power of the human mind. Something that was done by acupuncturists, discussed and proven by acupuncturists 5,000 years ago.
Charles Honorton did 3 replications in the mid-70s. Altogether, 19 scientists have confirmed Schmidt's findings, including aerospace engineer Robert John, Dean of the School of Engineering at Princeton University.
Humans have been always aware of the powers of the mind, but hence gambling, the effects were pretty small. So what we can all do, we can all train our brains, enhance our abilities, become stronger, more aware, focused, sharper.
And that's what we made our system for. Our new system, the NQB system, to be able to help you to train and develop your abilities.
John's study of psychokinesis on random events inside a solid-state electronic component produced results very similar to Schmidt's. Schmidt now believes his fellow physicists can no longer ignore the evidence.
1984, and now we have to be able to stop ignoring, stop being ignorant, and recognize that we need to stop the arrogance. We need to broaden the mind. We need to start to educate ourselves. Quantum theory, especially quantum entwinement, quantum entanglement, has now told us that things once connected, separated, maintain a level of information contact, and that there truly is a power of information and a power of the mind.
If present physics cannot explain these phenomena, that means that physics isn't complete, and physicists are quite used to drastic changes. They have changed their worldview in the past very often.
Helmut Schmidt's automated precognition experiment with the radioactive decay connected to the clock, and the subject tried to control the direction, is the best undeniable proof of ESP activity. This study was done over 30 times with scientifically significant results at extremely well-trained electrical engineers, not just psychic people, electrical engineering institutions. Along with the PEAR work, it has been able to prove beyond a shadow of doubt ESP ability. The undeniable conclusions are that when we have a true God consciousness random event, quantum chance, the human mind can intrude through the observer effect. A slightly influenced thing, the observer effect, quantum entwinement, can now explain this ESP phenomena, where previously physics was prevented from understanding and acceptance. This study proves that ESP ability is trainable. It's very small, but it is trainable. People can improve their abilities with practice. And people have either a positive ESP or negative results. Some people tend to affect things positively as they will it, want it, where others will have the opposite effect. Now we can understand people who worry, people who think they can prevent things by worrying about them in their mind. Now we can see why some people love insurance, want more and more insurance, worry, and why for other people they hate it.
And he is severely tortured. For several days, he is locked in a sweatbox with an insurance salesman.
Hi, I'm Joe Green. I represent the Ajax Widget Insurance Company. I'd like to talk to you about your insurance. You're about 30, right? You know, I think the best thing to do would be get straight life plus a little term. And how about dental and medical? We've got this major medical. It's a good deal.
Scientists have universally embraced the ideas of quantum entwinement, quantum entanglement, that things can maintain a level of information contact, not material contact, but information contact. And we now understand that the PEAR research was valid. And we now understand there is a reality to the ESP. And we now understand that the laws of physics are changing, and that there's a more broad-scaped idea of the law. And we have now opened our mind. And we need to see, as what I have done, is I have made a machine to be able to bring this into the real world and help people to open their mind. And in so doing, we have to recognize computers do not make a random number. They just do it. They take a number from the timer chip. It's not truly random. It's internal. But we have to recognize when we throw the dice, all of the forces of the universe have an effect. The actual gravity of Saturn has an effect. It's a small effect, but it's the inverse square law. It does not completely go away. All of the forces of the universe, a God consciousness, if you will, a total God entwinement, if you will, is affected, and it affects the dice. But it has to have the God consciousness. It cannot be internal. It cannot be digital. The Chinese developed a system of the I Ching, throwing the coins, being able to throw the coins. And when they throw these coins, they ask a question. When they ask the question, They throw the coins and they get a picture. They get an answer. They get a response. The universe and the human mind are entwined and entangled, and we get advice. Now, this type of system we can now make into a mechanical device, and I've done that with our system. I've done that with the NQB. And now with the new system, I've been able to make it better, improve the quantic events, and improve the system. This is the NQB device.
My name is Vicky Dubonnet, Desi's wife, and we are both here to support you with our incredible technology to help you to increase your mental abilities, mental awareness, and create the desired body and mind balance and connection.
Expand your mind with our new system.